Hello again, welcome back to the Telltale channel. Today we have another special bonanza of 3 classic Berenstain Bears stories for you to enjoy. To start with, we have the Berenstain Bears Hug and Make Up, followed by The Green-Eyed Monster, and finally, the Berenstain Bears Go to School. Be sure to pay close attention to the stories and watch them all the way to the end for the fun quizzes and fun facts. Please remember you can help the channel grow by just clicking the subscribe button. It's 100% free. Nobody gets along nicely all the time, not the birds in the trees, not the squirrels in their hidey holes, not the deer in the forest. Not even the members of the bear family, who live in the big tree house down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Brother Bear, Sister Bear, and Honey Bear got along nicely most of the time. They remembered to say please, thank you and excuse me most of the time. Except for baby Honey, who was just learning to talk. They were considerate of each other's feelings most of the time, and brother and sister tried not to take too long on the phone. But even happy families like the bear family, who love each other very much, don't get along all the time. It didn't happen very often, but there were days when the whole family woke up grouchy and got up on the wrong side of the bed. When it happened though, it made for a bad day in the tree house. Things got even worse at breakfast. Manners were forgotten, nobody said please pass the jam, or may I have the honey. The bears just reached and grabbed. Their dog, Little Lady, got a little worried and hid under the stairs. Goldie, the goldfish, hid in her underwater castle. Brother finished first and shouted at sister, who was having a second helping of cereal. Come on you slowpoke, or you will make us late for the school bus. Who are you calling a slowpoke, you dumbhead? Sister shouted back. You were the one who made us late yesterday, when you forgot to have Mama sign your test paper. It could start with brother or sister taking too long in the bathroom on a busy school morning. It could start with somebody leaving the cap off the toothpaste tube. It could start with somebody accidentally stubbing a toe. Yes, even Mama sometimes started off on the wrong foot. It didn't help when baby Honey decided to join in and started crying at the top of her lungs. That'll be quite enough shouting and name-calling, roared Papa, banging the table so hard the whole tree house shook. And quite enough table banging, said Mama, you're worse than the cubs. Grr, said Papa, jamming his hat on his head and storming out the door. Brother and sister usually sat next to each other on the school bus, but this morning they came onto the bus looking like storm clouds. I saved your seats for you, said their friend Lizzie Bruin. I wouldn't sit next to him if he were the last bear on earth, said sister. That goes double for me, said brother, stomping to the rear of the bus. And all through recess and lunch break they refused to have anything to do with each other. As soon as they got home from school, the shouting and arguing started all over again. They argued about where to have their after-school milk and cookies, on the kitchen table or in front of the television. They argued about which video to watch, the Bear Stooges or the Bearby Show. Soon they were rolling around on the floor fighting over the remote. I've had quite enough of this fussing and feuding, there'll be no television today, said Mama. She not only took away the remote, she pulled the plug on the television. Just sit yourselves down and do your homework, and I don't want to hear another peep out of either of you. Brother and sister sat at the dining room table and tried to do their homework, but they were so busy looking daggers at each other that they couldn't concentrate. By the time Papa came in from his shop, the bears' bad day had become a full-fledged family feud. Little Lady was still hiding under the stairs and Goldie was still hiding in her castle. Angry silence filled the air. Grim-faced brother was trying to reach the next level on one of his video games, but he kept falling short. Tight-lipped sister was coloring in a coloring book, but she wasn't staying in the lines very well. Angry Mama was trying to read a magazine. So Papa sat down glowering and pretended to read the newspaper. But it's hard for folks who love each other to stay angry all day, especially if they really don't have anything to be angry about. Sister was the first to break the silence. "Mama," she said. "Yes," said Mama. "That magazine you're reading," said Sister, starting to giggle, "you've got it upside down." "Why, so I do," said Mama with a small giggle of her own. Now it happens that giggling is as contagious as the 24-hour virus. More quickly than it takes to tell, the whole bear family was laughing uproariously. Except for baby Honey, who until that moment was having a long quiet nap. They were laughing so hard their sides hurt. They laughed so hard tears rolled down their cheeks. And what were they laughing at? They were laughing at themselves for wasting a whole day being angry about nothing. Little Lady came out from under the stairs, Goldie came out of her underwater castle, and Honey Bear saw her once angry family dry their tears and hug and make up. The end. Fun fact: goldfish tails and fins can grow back. Unless the tail and fin have been completely ripped off, a goldfish is able to heal an injured tail and fin back to normal. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. Where did Little Lady the dog hide when the bear family were arguing? The answer is under the stairs. What did Mama Bear stub her toe on? The answer is her bed. What did Mama Bear do to the TV? The answer is she unplugged it. Fun fact: hugs reduce heart rate and lowers blood pressure. Hugs releases endorphins, which reduce tension and stress and calms you. Stay tuned for the next story. It was Brother Bear's birthday and he was having a party. Brother blew out the candles on his birthday cake with one blow. Now it was time for him to get presents. Brother got many presents. He got some books, he got a soccer ball, he got a model airplane kit. But best of all was the present he got from Mama Bear and Papa Bear. It was a two-wheel bike, a big beautiful two-wheel bike. When everybody sang happy birthday to Brother Bear, Sister did not sing. She did not sing because she was jealous. She wasn't jealous of the books, or the soccer ball, or the model airplane kit. She was jealous of the big beautiful two-wheel bike. After the party, Brother Bear rode his new bike around the bear's tree house. Sister Bear tried to catch up with him on her trike, but Brother rode past her like she was standing still. Wow, he shouted, "Watch this! Look how fast I can go!" Sister Bear got so jealous, she couldn't stand it. Mama followed her into the house. "Sister," said Mama, "I think you have been bitten by the green-eyed monster." "The green-eyed monster," Sister said. "What's that?" "The green-eyed monster is the part of us that gets jealous," said Mama. "It is the green-eyed monster that is making you jealous of Brother's two-wheel bike." Sister Bear looked out of the window. Brother was still riding around and around the tree house. "It isn't fair," said Sister. "Why can't I have a two-wheel bike?" "Because," said Mama, "you are not ready for a two-wheel bike. A two-wheel bike is a bit too tall, and your legs are a bit too short." "Well, it just isn't fair," said Sister. Sister had many nice things. She had dolls in a dollhouse, she had skates and a jump rope, She had her trike, of course. But when you are jealous, the things you have look small next to the things you don't have. Later that night, just as sister was about to fall asleep, she had a visitor, a very strange visitor. It was a cub that looked just like Sister Bear, except that the visitor had green eyes and little horns on her head. "I know who you are," said Sister. "You are the green-eyed monster." "Never mind about that," said the visitor. "Come, I will show you how to get a two-wheel bike of your own. All you have to do is show Mama Bear and Papa Bear that you are ready." Then the visitor helped Sister onto the bike and gave her a big push. Off went Sister on Brother's big, beautiful two-wheel bike. Around and around the tree house she rode, faster and faster. But the bike was a bit too tall, and her legs were a bit too short. The bike began to wiggle, the bike began to wobble. Crash went the bike into a big rock. Sister flew through the air. Brother's big, beautiful two-wheel bike flew into 100 pieces. But the sound that woke Mama and Papa was not the sound of a crash, it was the sound of Sister Bear waking up from a bad dream. I'm sorry. My legs were too short, and the bike was too tall. I broke Brother's big, beautiful bike into 100 pieces. But it was just a dream, my dear," said Mama. "Brother's bike is fine," said Papa. Sister looked out the window. There was Brother's bike, all in one piece. Brother was sorry that Sister had a bad dream. The next day he put training wheels on his new bike so she could try it out. She did pretty well, but the two-wheel bike was a bit too tall, and her legs were a bit too short. "You were right, Mama," she said. "I am not ready for a two-wheel bike. But I will tell you what I am ready for. I am ready for that green-eyed monster. If she visits me again, I will send her on her way." The end. Fun fact. May 22nd is the least common birthday. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. What color was Brother's new two-wheel bike? The answer is red. What kind of ball did Brother get for his birthday? The answer is a soccer ball. What did Sister crash into on Brother's bike in her dream? The answer is a rock. Fun fact. More people celebrate their birthdays in August than in any other month, about 9% of all people. The two other months that rate high for birthdays are July and September. Stay tuned for the next story. It had been a wonderful summer for the bear family. They had gone swimming and boating at the lake, they had picnicked in the woods, and taken many walks along sunny paths. But now summer was just about over. There was a nip in the air. The birds were beginning to fly south, and the leaves on the tree house were changing colors. One evening at supper, Brother Bear said, "I'm getting tired of summer vacation. I think I'm ready to go back to school." "That is good news," said Papa Bear, "because school will be starting again very soon." Sister Bear's ears perked up at the word school. Mama Bear noticed. "As a matter of fact," she said, "Sister and I are going to meet her new teacher tomorrow." This year Sister would be starting kindergarten, and she wasn't quite sure how she felt about it. The next day, Mama and Sister packed a lunch and took the long walk down the winding dirt road to the Bear Country School. Handy Bear Gus was up on a ladder fixing the roof. "Hello," said Mama, "this is Sister Bear. She starts kindergarten next week." "We'll be glad to have her," said Gus. Miss Honeybear is the kindergarten teacher. You'll find her inside. Hello there, said Miss Honeybear in a loud, jolly voice. Come right in and look around. Sister thought Miss Honeybear's voice was scary, but she let Miss Honeybear take her hand and lead her into the kindergarten room. What a big, friendly room! It had yellow curtains and tables and chairs that looked just right for someone's sister's size. What do you do in kindergarten? Sister asked as they sat down for lunch. We read stories, sing songs, learn our ABCs, paint pictures, play games, make things out of clay, build with blocks. We do lots of things, said Miss Honeybear. Those were all things Sister liked to do, and she had never seen such big jars of paint, or such fine blocks. There was even a whole barrel of clay. School might be fun after all, thought Sister by the time she and Mama started home. But when the big morning came, Sister began to worry again. Mama, she said, what if I don't like school? What if I just don't like it? Just then the big yellow school bus pulled up to the tree house. Stop worrying, said Brother Bear. School is fun, you'll like it. Now let's get going or we'll miss the bus. He grabbed her hand and away they went. Every so often the bus stopped and more bears climbed on. Most of them were excited like Brother. But some of the smaller ones were quiet like Sister. As more and more old friends climbed on, they got noisier and noisier and the smaller ones got quieter. The little bear who sat next to Sister began to look worried, so she smiled at him and held his hand. At last the bus arrived. The Bear Country School looked very nice. Handy Bear Gus had fixed the roof, and painted the trim and cut the grass. And Miss Honeybear's kindergarten room looked beautiful. Everything was ready. Before very long, the kindergartners got noisy. 2 of them wanted to play with the same dump truck, 2 others wanted to look at the same book, and a whole gang of them wanted to be first to play with the blocks. What a commotion! Suddenly a loud, jolly voice called out, "Story time!" Miss Honeybear was calling the class to the book corner. That quieted things down. After the story, Sister tried everything. She painted a picture, helped build a block cine, made a giant clay donut and looked at the books. She ate all of her bread and honey at snack time, and she fell asleep at nap time. When she climbed off the bus with Brother at the end of the day, Sister was the excited one. Mama, Papa, look what I did in school today, she said, holding up her painting. A few days later, the weather turned warm again, as it sometimes does in early fall. Brother was restless at breakfast. I wish it was still summer vacation, he said, so I wouldn't have to go to school today. Oh, come on, Brother Bear, said Sister. School is fun. Let's get going or we will miss the bus. On the bus, all the bears were talking about the things they were going to do at school. Soccer practice, science projects, music lessons, all kinds of things. Thought Brother. Sister Bear was right. School is fun. And off they went in the big yellow bus, to the Bear Country School. The end. Fun fact. In the USA, school buses are yellow because people notice this color more quickly in their peripheral vision than they do other colors. This reduces the likelihood of other motorists colliding with a school bus. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. What color were the curtains in Sister's classroom? The answer is yellow. What is Sister's teacher's name? The answer is Miss Honeybear. Who fixed the school roof? The answer is Handy Bear Gus. Fun fact. The word kindergarten comes from the German language. Kinder means children and Garten means garden. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Remember to like and subscribe for free to the Telltale channel and click the notification bell for more stories, quizzes, and fun facts. Check out the channel's playlist for more Telltale stories and fairy tales.